Hi, this is lesson 13.5, apply the law of sines. Our big question here, how does the law of sines help us? Okay, so the law of sines can be written in either of the following forms. So either this way or this way. Notice the difference. This says sine A over A. This says A over sine A. And remember, the capital letters are the vertices of our triangle. The lowercase letters are our sides. And side A is across from angle A. Side B is across from angle B. Angle C is across from side C. So we're just doing a ratio, the sine of the angle over the opposite side. And those ratios are all equal to each other. So let's try a couple problems. So we're going to solve a triangle for the angle side or angle side angle case. So let's try these. The first thing that you need to do is draw a picture of your triangle and label what you need to know. And remember, solving a triangle means find all the missing sides and all the missing angles. So let's draw a triangle here. I'm going to label this A, B, C, and that means this would be little a, this would be little b, and this would be little c. So I've labeled everything. So now I'm going to put my given information on there. It says A equals 28 degrees, so that's angle A. B equals 102 degrees. And side A equals 8. So we can easily find angle C. It's pretty easy to find angle C, so let's do that one first. Since we know two sides of a triangle, we know two angles, we know angle C is going to have to equal 180 minus our two angles, minus 28, minus 102 degrees. So angle C equals 50 degrees. So I'm going to draw that right on here. Angle C is 50 degrees. I now know all three of my angles. I just need to find my two missing sides. So let's now find one of our missing sides. Let's find side C first. Okay, so let's find side C. And in order to do that, I'm going to look at the two that I know, the angle and the side across from it that I know. This angle is 28 and this side is 8. So I'll make a proportion of sine 28 over 8 equals, this is the other angle I know for C, and this is the side I want, so equals sine of 50 degrees over C. So that was the sine of 28 degrees over 8 equals the sine of 50 degrees over C. And this is how I will find side C. So I'm just going to cross multiply here. C times the sine of 28 degrees equals 8 times the sine of 50 degrees. And I want C alone, so I need to move this sine of 28. So I'm going to divide both sides by the sine of 28. And from here, you can just put this into your calculator. So these cancel. C is about equal to, and we're going to round to, I'm going to round to 2 decimal places for this one. So C is about equal to, if you put that in your calculator, which you should to practice, it's about equal to 13.05. So we've now found C, that's 13.05. My only other missing side is side B. So let's find B. Okay, so to find B, we're going to write another proportion. We're going to use the original one that we knew, the sine of 28 degrees over the side opposite that, which is 8. And side B, well, across from that is angle B, and angle B is 102 degrees. So we're going to do the sine of 102 degrees over B. And again, we're just going to cross multiply. So that's B times the sine of 28 equals 8 times the sine of 102. And if I want B alone, I need to move that sine of 28. So I'll divide both sides by the sine of 28. So these cancel. So if you put this into your calculator, you should get 8 sine 102 divided by sine of 28, which will give you approximately 16.67. So B is 16.67. So we've now found all the angles and all the sides. We have solved this triangle. Example 2, I'm going to start and set it up with you, and then I want you to finish it. So example 2, solve triangle ABC with B equal to 34 degrees, C equal to 100 degrees, and B equal to side B equal to 8. So I'm going to help you by drawing your triangle. Good idea would be to pause it, draw it on your own, and then see if you got it right. Okay, I've drawn my triangle. Angle B is 34 degrees, so I'll put that in here. Angle C is 100 degrees, I'll put that in here. And then side B is 8, so I'll put that in here. So you've got to identify what angle and opposite side do you know. Well, you know this angle is 34 degrees and the opposite side is 8. So you can find this missing angle by subtracting these from 180, but to find your other ones, you'll have to do sine 34 divided by 8 and make another proportion here. So pause the video, try this one on your own. Okay, so you should have found for our missing angle, angle A equals 46 degrees. So that's 46 degrees. And then you should have found side A. So if you were going to find side A, you didn't have to do it in this order, but to find side A, you would have done sine of 100 degrees. I'm sorry, not sine of 100. For side A, erase that. For side A, you would have done sine of 46 degrees over A. That's one you don't know. And the one we do know, that's sine of 34 degrees. Should have parentheses around this, over 8. You should be able to cross multiply this, and once you cross multiply it and find A, you should find that A is 10.29. So when I look at your notes, I want to see your work for that. So A is 10.29. And then when you found B, check what you did for B. For side B, we're going to use the same proportion, sine 34 over 8 equals, for side B, you want to find, I'm sorry, not side B, we're looking for side C here, for our last one. For side C, you would have done sine of 100 over C. So that's the proportion you should have set up. You could flip the two sides around. Notice in this one I flipped my two sides around, and that's okay. Here you could have flipped these two sides around. That would have been perfectly fine. But solving this, you should have found that C equals 14.09. So if you didn't get either of those answers for A, angle A, or side C, check your work and see where you made a mistake. Make sure you set up your proportions the same way that I set mine up. Okay, let's look at the next side here. So we're going to solve a side-side angle case with one solution. So these sometimes have one solution, they sometimes have no solution, and then they sometimes have two solutions. And we'll talk more in class about how you tell how many solutions there are going to be. But because A is angle A here, or side A, nope, angle A, I was right the first time, because A is obtuse, and we know that it's obtuse because look at here, it's 94 degrees. So A is obtuse, it's 94 degrees because A is obtuse, and side A is longer than side C. Okay, so side A is 18, side C is only 13. Okay, these are across from each other. Since that's true, one triangle can be formed. And we're going to use the law of sines to find C, side C, angle C, angle B, and side B. So let's draw a picture, and I know that angle A is an obtuse angle. It's 94 degrees, so I'm going to draw it that way. Here's my angle A, and it's 94 degrees. So across from angle A will be side A, which is 18. Okay, this will be my B, here will be side B, and this will be my angle C, and this is side C, and we know that side C equals 13. So I've drawn my picture in here. Let's use our law of sines to find the missing pieces. So here's the proportion that I can write. Sine of 94 over 18 equals, let's start by finding angle C here. So this will be the sine of C over 13. So that was angle C that we're looking for first. So it's the sine of 94 degrees over 18 equals the sine of C over 13. We can cross multiply this, so 13 times the sine of 94 equals 18 times the sine of C. To get C alone, I'm going to have to divide both sides by 18. So we've got the sine of C equals, and when you put this into your calculator and divide them, you're going to get a decimal. So I want you to make sure you do the inverse sign, okay, because in order to get rid of this sign and to get our angle C alone, we have to do the inverse sign, and I want you to do of your answer in your calculator. So do the inverse sign of your answer, and you should find that C is about equal to 46.09 degrees. I'm going to write that right in here, 46.09 degrees. Just remember, make sure you did the inverse sign of your answer, and you had done the answer of 13 times the sine of 94 divided by 18. Now we've got two of the angles. Let's find our third missing angle. Let's find angle B, and we can do that by subtracting from 180. So for angle B, we're going to do 180 minus the 94 degree angle that we know, minus 46.09. And that's going to equal 39.91 degrees. So angle B is 39.91 degrees. So let's check here. We know angle B, we know angle C, we know angle A, we know side C, we know side A, we need side B. So let's make another, use our law of sines again, make another proportion. Sine of 94 over 18 equals, now we're going to use these two, sine of 39.91 over B. So let's do that last one. Okay, so I'm going to say again, sine of, this is what side B is. So we're going to do sine of 94 over 18 equals sine of 39.91 over B. So if you cross multiply here, you've got 18 times the sine of 39.91 equals B times the sine of 94. And then to get B alone, we're just going to divide both sides by the sine of 94 to make those cancel out. So put that into your calculator, and you should get that B is about equal to 11.58. So B equals 11.58. We now know all three of our sides and all three of our angles. Okay, let's do a problem when there's no solution. Okay, so this problem is going to have no solution, and we have to just set it up to find this. So we're going to draw our picture. So I've got A, B, and C, and A is 77 degrees. Side A, I'm going to write over here, is 6.1. Side B, across from angle B, is 9. And then side C would be over here. So let's set up a proportion. And since we know these two, we'll set a proportion up there. We know that B equals 9, so we're going to have to find angle B. So to start by finding angle B, we're going to do the sine of 77 over 6.1, because those are the two that we know, both the side and the angle, equals the sine of B over 9. Now when you cross multiply here, you'd get 9 times the sine of 77 equals 6.1 times the sine of B. Let's divide them both by 6.1 to get that sine B alone. So you've got the sine B. And when you simplify this and put it in your calculator, you're going to get an answer here. So keep your answer. We're going to do the inverse sine to cancel those out. So we'll do the inverse sine of your answer. Put that in your calculator. You should know how to do that now. And you're going to get an error message. And what that error message tells us is that there is no solution. Okay, so you're going to get an error message. Okay, so that angle isn't possible. You have no solution here. Let's look at your next problem. So try this one on your own. What I want you to notice before you do this problem is look at angle B. It's 117 degrees, so that's going to be your obtuse angle. Okay, so well, I'll help you start out by drawing it, and then I want you to do the work on your own. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture here. Angle B is going to be obtuse, so I'll make sure it's obtuse. So angle B up here is 117. Angle C is 14 degrees. So A would be down here. This is side B, this is side C, and this is side A, and B equals 21. Okay, so on your own, pause the video and solve this one. Okay, you should have solved this one, and you should have found that angle A equals 49 degrees. Side C is about equal to 5.70, and then side A is about equal to 17.79. Okay, we've just got a couple more things here. So this is when we have a side and an angle that we're given of a triangle, and there's two possible solutions. Okay, so we've got this little formula, H equals B times the sine of A. Okay, and what you need to know is that if H is greater than A, no triangle is possible. If H equals A, there's one triangle. And if H, so if A is between H and B, that's when we find two triangles. And we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, but this is how we tell how many possible triangles there are going to be when we're given two sides and an angle for a triangle. So this problem, if I go ahead and use that little formula I just showed you, H equals B, which is 15, times the sine of angle A, which is 30. So if you put that in your calculator, you'll find that H is 7.5. So H is 7.5, and side A is 10. So 7.5 is our H, so it's going to fit this one right here. 7.5 is here, A is 10, and B is 15. So you can see how our A is between 7.5 and 15. So this is a case where we're going to have two triangles. So let's go through and solve this first triangle together. Knowing what we know already, you should be able to know that sine of 30 over 10 equals, we're given that B is 15, so that would go on the bottom, and then we want to find angle B, so that would be sine of B. So you should be able to set this one up at this point and solve it. So pause the video, try that on your own. Okay, you should have found that B was about equal to 48.59. Once you do that one, so B is 48.59. Now you know two angles, so you should be able to find angle C by subtracting from 180. And you should find angle C equals 101.4. And then using angle C, you should be able to set up a proportion to find side C. So we would do sine of 100, or sine of 30, let's use the one that we already know, over 10 equals sine of 101.4 over side C. Now I want to see your work when we check this tomorrow. When I look at your notes tomorrow, I want to see your work for this one. But you should have found that side C is about equal to 19.6. Okay, I want you to try triangle 2 on your own. I'll give you the answer so that you can check it and make sure you did it correctly. But try triangle 2 on your own. Pause the video, try it on your own. Okay, you should find that C is about equal to 6.4. Angle B is about equal to 131.4. And angle C is about equal to 18.6. So I should not see just the answer on your page. I should see the work as well. Okay, this is our last thing for this lesson, the area of a triangle. And it says right here, the area of any triangle is given by 1/2 the product of the lengths of two sides times the sine of their included angle. Now notice, C and B are two sides. The included angle is angle A. B and A are two sides. The included angle is angle C. C and A are two sides. The included angle is angle B. So we're going to use different letters for these. So we've got a few different ways that we can find the area. You could do 1/2 AB times the sine of C, or you could do 1/2 BC, and if you multiplied BC, you'd be doing the sine of A, or you could do 1/2 AC, and then you do the sine of B. So let's look here. This is A, this one is B, and this is angle C right here. So we're going to do area equals 1/2 times our two sides, which is 1.4 times 2.3, times the sine of our included angle, which is 78.1. And if you put that all into your calculator, you should find the area is about equal to 1.58, and that's miles. Okay, this is the end of the lesson. Make sure if you have any questions, you start them, and we will talk about more of this tomorrow. Have a great night.